behind the journey podcast. Real people, real purpose.
Why is there a feeling that there's no money? Kila mtu amesota, businesses don't have money. Like it's a general feeling, hakuna pesa. And then here comes an interesting phrase, afadhali watu waibe, steal the money but spend it in the country. And this was said by a senior government officials, and people are like, wait, what do you mean you're supporting corruption? Interestingly, it's weird that it's a paradox that supporting the thieves to steal and spend in the country is plausible. It's not plausible because it's a good thing. It's plausible because it's not worse than what's happening now. And now you have no idea how excited I am that we managed to get Robert Mwangi on this episode. Robert Mwangi gave me one of the most interesting ideas on circulation of money. And that explains the cycles are kuna pesa, hakuna pesa, and when he paints the picture, you actually see, it starts to make sense. You would be tempted to support the idea, basis you guys steal and then spend in the country. Robert, asante sana. Nakuthank tena on camera, though nimekuthank tena before.
Sasa, asante for having me.
Karibu sana. So now, for wadau, for these short episodes, please break down the idea of circulation of money using the blood analogy and ulitupea.
So it's actually very simple, and it actually paints the picture of the problems that we are in and how we can actually solve that. So if you think about our bodies, we have on average about 5 liters of blood, right? Mm-hmm. So that circulates every minute. So which means in every hour you're circulating about 300 liters of blood from that 5 liters. So because it's like every minute the same 5 liters is coming back to your heart and being back to your legs and your head, and constantly. So every minute you're having about 5 liters in an hour, that's 300 liters. In a day, 24 hours, that's about that's 7,200 liters. So imagine, like tank here, 2,700 liters. That's the amount of blood that you need on a daily basis. But what makes that possible is the fact that you're using the same 5 liters.
It's recycled,
right?
Yes.
So imagine a situation whereby you've been in an accident and you're cut. So that 5 liters will run out within 1 minute. Like you drain that 5 liters within just 1 minute.
Yes.
Right? So basically, if somebody does not seal that wound within 1 minute, all your blood is going to be gone.
Bleed out.
So technically, you're going to be dead within 1 minute, or in the second minute, basically you're gone, right?
Yes.
And that's actually, unfortunately, that's how most accident patients die. So when it comes to the economy, so think about Kenya as that body that have 5 liters. So we'll assume we have, whether it's 5 million, 5 shillings, or 5 billion, right? That is supposed to be circulating here. So let's give an example with, I heard that the Minister of Agriculture the other day said that we are importing 5 billion eggs every year. That's 70 billion shillings worth of eggs every year. Mm-hmm. So we take that money and we basically, so think about that as blood that is supposed to be circulating here, right? So I buy from you the eggs and you come to my shop and you buy something else. So that money, and then that person goes to another person and buys something. But instead of doing that, we take that money, we take it from whichever country that those eggs are coming from, or whatever else that we're importing, whether it's cars or whatever it is that we're importing. So the thing is, so it's like Kenya has been cut, and all that blood is, so basically we are in a space where
we are always bleeding out.
We are always bleeding out. And the simple thing that we need to do is look for situations where we can circulate that money within the country.
So that simply means, to break down even further, inamaanisha every time we boast about how much we are buying from out there, we are actually bleeding money out.
Yeah, exactly. So to give you an example, like all agricultural product that we can actually farm here, we import things worth about 500 billion shillings in a year. So that's basically money that should have been creating jobs here, but we are taking and not just spending it abroad. We are literally employing those people, whether it's in agriculture or the people that are doing the manufacturing of the products that we're importing. And those are very simple products that we can make here, whether it's soap or cooking oil or it's shoes. I mean, we have, how many cars do we have here that we can basically create factories that are creating money that is circulating here. So every time we spend it, and the other thing that I need people to say is that every time there's that 500 billion shillings that we buying things abroad, it's not just the Kenya shillings that we don't go to China and buy things in Kenya shillings. So that has to be translated into whichever currency that country uses, whether it's yen all is the US dollar. So mostly it's going to be the US dollar. So at the point of dumping that Kenya shillings, we're going to basically have so much Kenya shillings as is floating that it forces our central bank to clean up that money to be able to, so because I'm buying dollars before, so the intermediary here, before I buy that product in China or wherever, or Turkey, wherever that product is coming from, I have to buy the dollars to begin with. So that means I'm dumping Kenya shillings. That means the Kenya shillings is losing value. So the more we do that, the more we lose the currency. So it's not just,
Thank you.
So it's like it's double whammy.
Sawa. So now that brings another perspective. We are losing money through excess importation, and we are also losing money through the people who steal and invest in other countries. I saw some real estate agent in Dubai being, and we actually covered that, being awarded for selling 1 billion shillings worth of apartments to a Kenyan.
Yes.
So that's money that left the Kenyan economy bleeding out to another economy.
Yes.
And I'm told that these countries have such heavy repatriation strategies or monetary policies that money cannot be brought back.
Exactly. And so there's something in Dollar Alta I write about, something, you know, it came from when Mubarak was a very good example, when he was the president of Egypt. Immediately he became, immediately he was toppled. So what happened? He had Swiss accounts and he had $2 billion that were held there. So obviously the Swiss said that, you know what, we cannot, like, we are freezing his account. And the reason as to why they're doing that, and I'm talking about that monetary policy, is to make sure that that money does not go back to Egypt, because it is used in those countries to basically create their wealth, right? So there's something called positive corruption, and we're not encouraging corruption, but it's when, unfortunately, when somebody has stolen, if they say they build, a hotel in Sia or in Embu, right? That is going to create opportunities for somebody to be supplying. So that hotel is going to have a restaurant. So they're going to employ people who are working that restaurant. It's going to obviously be built. That material is coming from that area. So there is money that is actually circulating in that economy. So if we were patriotic enough, but obviously if somebody is stealing something, they want to hide it in a place whereby it cannot be, because governments will change. So some of the reasons why some of these people steal that money is because they have the protection of the government of the day. So if you look at, I think there is a situation, Kamodo had stolen some land in, I think it was in the papers last week, in Karura Forest, and that has gone back to, to the people, to the public, right? So meaning the reasons why they send that money abroad is because they are protecting it from future, from the future governments that might actually repossession, right? And that's kind of unfortunately their strategy. But so it's like we're having people who really don't care about this country, but unfortunately, for us, the majority, when the economy is bleeding out, it's kind of literally somebody who literally the only thing they had a gunshot wound to the like during press, we had actually a lot of that, where somebody just needed to put a t-shirt to cover their legs so that they don't bleed out within 1 minute. And guess what? Because if you have a major artery that is being injured, it's bleeding out. And so like right now there is a thing that they have done, which is pegging the exchange rate to the dollar, so that it's not fluctuating. If you notice, for the last 2 years, the exchange rate has hanged out between 129 and 130. So there's something that they have done that makes sure it doesn't fluctuate so much. But the whole idea of importation still is what manifests itself as poverty, lack of job. Obviously, that bleeds into crime, slums, and all these things can be cured by simply making those things here.
Okay, asante sana. If you want to know why Robert is one of my favorite peoples in the world, because you know how much I love ideas. Robert ameandika vitabu. Ya kwanza inaitwa Dollar Alta, inakuwekeanga world economy kwa fingertips. Kuna money circles. Oh dear Lord, don't even get me started. This is the first book I read, Robert Mwangi, and he paints very good picture, ideas, if he was able. Inaitwa the president's advisor. If he was in a place to tell the president his ideas in person, if he was an advisor to the president, things he would do to change the economy ya Kenya. Uzuri ni, na tuko na 5 fingers. Hizi vitabu zote ni blockbuster, and you can grab a copy of any of this from the Nuria bookstore, na wana deliver countrywide, hata outside the country cause wako Amazon pia. Oh dear Lord. Kwanza watch out on our episode. Lazima nitafute Robert tena atu-explainie strategy yake ya return on investment and what he thinks about investment opportunities locally. That's all we had for you, but at least nimepata a glimpse. That's why I keep telling you Robert is one of my favorite peoples.